Hi there, and a huge welcome to the Transcending Succeed show. I'm Dawn Livingston, and today I have a remarkable guest who embodies resilience, self-discovery, and the power of feminine embodiment. Kimberly Geisin is a trained chef turned women's feminine embodiment coach. Her journey is one of profound transformation. Battling her own demons with an eating disorder, she found solace and healing through mindfulness, self-compassion, reconnecting with nature and creative expression. Now she channels her wisdom from her experiences into helping women find their way back to themselves, guiding them towards their full potential and a life filled with joy and purpose. She firmly believes that each of us carries within us the tools to build the life of our dreams. It all begins with turning inward, rediscovering our unique gifts, and embracing our inner fire. Through her work, Kimberly illuminates the path towards authenticity and self-discovery, urging us to trust ourselves and live boldly. She's here to talk to us about her journey and discuss topics ranging from eating disorder recovery to the world of feminine embodiment, navigating shame and self-doubt, and the importance of expression in our lives. So welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Hi, Dawn. Thank you so much for having me on the show with you.
You're so welcome. So firstly, what led you on this journey of self-healing and discovery?
It was in trying to recover from my eating disorder. That really kind of set me on my path to back to me anyways.
Can you tell us what happened, through the eating disorder? What do you feel, or what did you think at that time? Why did you create this eating disorder?
I think it was a way of, originally it started as a diet, just to lose a few pounds and, get in a little bit better shape. And then it kind of turned into a means of control, something that I had control over in my life. Mm-hmm. And then as a coping mechanism, I would say, to kind of escape from discomfort or pain that I was experiencing in my life.
Mm-hmm. The emotional pain?
Emotional pain, yeah, loneliness, shame.
Okay. And what do you feel caused the shame? Was it the actual eating disorder itself, or was it something that caused the shame that caused you then to have the eating disorder?
I think it started with just a low sense of kind of self-worth and esteem from just maybe a young age, certainly in high school years. Mm-hmm. And through the eating disorder, it definitely developed more into shame, because I kept coming up against the same patterns over and over again and not being able to get better or, improve. And it just really kind of led to this beating up of myself, and then feeling like I was bad and there was something wrong with me, that I couldn't recover.
Yeah, self-beratement is something that a lot of us do, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the biggest takeaways then? Maybe you could call them gifts from your recovery.
Yeah, I would say there's quite a few actually, I think, but the biggest one is coming home to myself, kind of, finding me once more,
Yeah.
and the ability to forgive myself and others through that healing journey, refostering trust with myself and just with life, resilience and inner strength that came from that battle, and really a sense of perseverance that I know that I can do hard things and I can continue to, chip away at something, and I have proof that I can do that for myself. And then lastly, I would say it kind of opened me up to playfulness and joy, which was something that I didn't experience a lot of when I was in my eating disorder. And also just, I think sometimes it's something a lot of us lose in life. We become focused on work or our goals, and we kind of lose that sense of lightness and joy.
I think playfulness and joy is something we all need a lot more of in our life, definitely. And I like what you said there about, forgiveness, and in particular to forgive yourself. Yeah, I think that is a massive accomplishment to inner work, to self-healing. It can sometimes take quite a while for people to understand that if you feel you need forgiveness in your life, you need to forgive yourself. And being able to forgive yourself, then you're able to forgive others and receive forgiveness in return.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how did you transition then? I'm curious, how did you transition from being a chef to becoming a feminine embodiment coach?
So that's an interesting, interesting question. It was definitely a little bit of a journey, and I think, in this industry for over 20 years, and I was kind of losing my joy in it. It was just kind of becoming something that I was no longer enjoying to do for myself or others. And I went back and forth with it for a long time, deciding if I should leave, if it was safe to leave, what else would I do? And it started slowly, kind of leaving this career that I was in and trying out a few things first, moving as a chef, as towards more of a manager in the front of the house. And then I went on this retreat, actually. It was a women's retreat. And it was there that somebody had said to me, oh, like we were talking about our jobs. And I said, oh, no, I work in the hospitality industry. I do events. And they said, wow, I saw you as a feminine embodiment coach. And it was in that moment that something just kind of clicked for me. And I started researching it and signed myself up for a certification program and dove into that world. And within a year later, I was starting my business up and doing coaching.
And there was your light bulb moment. That's
Yes.
what I'm supposed to be doing. There's your purpose. So thank you very much.
Exactly.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So if you could go back then and speak to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself?
I think I would say to her that the most important thing is how you feel about yourself and how you see yourself. And honestly, that your relationship with self, building that relationship, because from that is where all your other relationships stem, and also in looking outside to others, it's really just a reflection of your own view of yourself. So to really kind of focus on how you look at yourself and make it pleasant, make it pleasurable, and
Yeah, it's all about your perception of yourself, isn't it? How you perceive yourself to be. Because your perceptions then, they become your belief and then they become your vibration, and your vibration is what attracts your experiences to you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, do you have a message for women then who are struggling with eating disorders? What would you tell them?
Um, I would like to tell them that they are not alone in this journey. I know that was something that I struggled with. It's such a, I mean, I think all kind of addictions are there's so much shame, and you don't want to talk about it and tell people that you're struggling. And you don't have to do it alone. There's other people that are walking a similar journey and that want to support you and help you.
Yeah, and there are so many people that, and I was one of them, that felt like I had to be strong and do this myself, and cope and get through it myself without any external intervention or any kind of help. But it was only when I reached out for some help, that was when the realization started. That was my big light bulb moment, because that person then changed my perception. I was then, became aware of what the truth about the situation was, and I was able to do a complete 180. So I would definitely, say to people, if you are struggling in any way, shape, or form, reach out to Kimberly. She can give you some help and some guidance and some assistance, and maybe you could even work with her, because having somebody that you don't know that's outside your circle is so much easier, because they can see things that you can't because they're not close to you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, they're not close to you, and they can give you an outside perspective
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And I think having, been through it yourself, it's such a great way to be able to help others, because you know exactly what they're going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, Dawn.
welcome. How do shame and self-doubt then play a role in our lives, particularly for women?
Um, I think for women, what my experience was, and I think it's kind of broadcast out there for a lot of women, that food and diet and our body should look a certain way, and we should try to meet this standard of beauty. And I think it is getting better now, but it's still there a little bit. And then when we can't meet this unrealistic standard, then that's where some of the shame starts to come in, and we feel again like there's something wrong with us. Why can't we just stick with this diet plan or whatever it is? And it starts to kind of fester inside of us. And the shame can really just kind of start to eat you alive, I think, from the inside out, and creep into other areas of your life with doubt. And then you're not willing to step out and try new things or be brave, maybe.
I like what you said about, we're trying to meet this unrealistic standard. I absolutely agree with that. I see a lot of it around. You still see these, stick thin models on the covers of magazines and on the catwalks and stuff. And to me, that doesn't look healthy. It doesn't look healthy at all. And we're all, for quite a while, it was the size zero, wasn't it? And
Mm-hmm.
so many people I knew in my, I wouldn't say circle of friends, but, over social media and places like that, they were all, recording and posting their journey to get this size zero. And every single one of them were saying how ill they felt, how tired, how lethargic, and they just didn't feel like themselves. And then they were starting to get grouchy or cranky and angry, because they just weren't giving their bodies what their bodies needed to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. Um, a lot of that happening for me and a lot of the girls that I was in school with, trying to, diet and fit into this size zero gene. And many of us are just not, built that way. Then
I
that's just
know.
our body. That's how our body is.
And about diets as well, but there's a lot of stigma around that word diet,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be that eating proper food, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains, legumes, that type of thing, is actually a diet, where it's actually not. It's actually eating the correct food and giving your body, the right nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just consuming what makes you feel good and what nourishes you
Yeah.
wholly.
What's your take on the diet trends that go around? There's the keto diet and the carnivore diet and low fat. What's your take on those?
I am not a fan of diets at all. After living so much of my life focused on diets and restriction, I very much believe that we should eat what it is that we like, that we want, that works for ourselves. So I kind of believe in like all colors of the rainbow type thing, and everything in moderation. So I think when we start to deny ourselves things is when problems start to happen, because then there's like a sense of scarcity, and I don't know, it just kind of, all this other stuff festers. And if we just allow ourselves to eat freely, like what nourishes us, and healthy, I mean, fruits, vegetables, like you said, nuts, grains, just balanced.
Yeah. So would you, I suppose, consider, you were saying like a balanced diet, and you're talking about different colours of food, because that's where we get all the different forms of nutrition, our trace minerals, our vitamins, etc. There's no one size fits all, is there? There's not one thing that will fit absolutely everybody. Do you use that example then to talk to your clients about feeling what the food does to their body? Yeah. Do you talk to them about, listen to your body, go inside, use your intuition, use your gut feel about how certain foods are making your body feel?
Absolutely. Just like you said, there's no one size fits all, and everyone's body requires different things at different times, especially with women, at different times in their cycle, as different times in their lives as they age and change. And it's really about becoming kind of mindful and present with what's going on inside of your body, and saying, hey, how did that make me feel? And maybe I could put some more of that in my diet, or maybe that didn't make me feel so good. And just kind of following that little light, and listening to your body.
Your body gives you lots of signals, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of signals. Okay. Now's a good time. Probably we'll take a quick break. I want you to stay with us though, because after the break, Kimberly is going to tell us her fun fact. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Holy Hydrogen introduces the most powerful health enhancement device in the world, the Lord's Hydrofix Premium Edition. Studies have shown therapeutic potential for cancer, diabetes, digestive and heart issues, and essentially every organ and system in the body. Visit holyhydrogen.com to see the latest technology that elevates your immune system and fights inflammation. This isn't medical advice, but if you have any health concerns, I strongly recommend that you learn more about hydrogen. Visit holyhydrogen.com to learn more about this groundbreaking gold standard hydrogen generator that for a reasonable price creates therapeutic quality hydrogen gas for inhalation and hydrogen infused water for consumption. Remember, holyhydrogen.com.
Hi, and welcome back to the Transcending Succeed show. And my guest today is Kimberly Geisin, and we are talking feminine embodiment and recovery from eating disorders. And Kimberly is going to tell us her fun fact.
Yes, fun fact about me. I love to explore and travel. And what I like to do in my free time is kind of dive into all the witchy woo-woo stuff that I can find. It just kind of puts this little spark inside of my heart and brings me a lot of joy.
Okay, define then witchy woo-woo.
Anything from crystals, tarot, astrology, the moon, and following along with the phases of the moon. That was actually something that I used in my recovery to kind of keep track and use as a goal setting tool. And it's something that I still use today. And it's actually available on my website, just like a free moon goal setting, if people wanted to pop on there and sign up for that.
I think that is a fine definition of witchy woo-woo. I like some of those things as well, and I have been told often that I'm witchy and woo-woo.
I love it.
Okay, so can you share with us a pivotal moment in your journey towards feminine embodiment?
I think it starting with that moment on that retreat, having that woman tell me, like, oh, I thought you were a women's embodiment coach, a feminine embodiment coach. And like I said, something just really clicked for me. And I was like, all these pieces kind of fell into place. It's almost like as I was healing from my eating disorder, that's what I was doing. I was becoming more embodied. And that was the term for it. And I hadn't heard of it before. It just was out of my real house of things, and coming into that and really diving into that and learning about expression, I think was huge as well.
Isn't it wonderful when you are presented with that final piece of the jigsaw and then all of a sudden you just think, that's what I've been missing all my life, the missing part. And don't you just feel it gives you that, I suppose, feeling of empowerment and, and strength and courage to kind of plow forward with what it is that you have just found. That was the way I was anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That missing piece that just empowers you to move forward. Yeah.
So give us your perception. How would you define feminine embodiment?
So feminine embodiment is kind of, we all have a body. We're all embodied to some extent, and adding in the feminine piece, I think really kind of allows you to move into the depths of your inner world. It kind of it gives you room in space to kind of play and move into like more flow and ease and curiosity and playfulness, as opposed to, living in the masculine. Oftentimes it's very direct and forward focused, goal oriented. And I think they're certainly needs to be a balance between the two. But I think tapping into that feminine embodiment piece, it enables us to tap into the wisdom that lives within each of us that sometimes we lose track of along the way.
I would probably summarize that as finding yourself at a soul level. Would that be along the lines of what you were saying?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what role, I know you like to be out in nature. I know you like to be out in the wild, in the sunshine, walking on the earth. So what role does connecting with nature play in your healing process?
There's just something about stepping outside in nature that I feel like allows me to tap into like just life itself, tap into source. There's that whole sense of like Mother Nature. It's very nurturing to me and revitalizing. And it just kind of puts me at ease. And then I also like to look to nature for the, I like to look at the seasons and the cyclicalness of it as just like growth and decay, like constantly, it's constantly evolving and changing.
Where's your favourite place then? Is it like a beach or a forest or mountains? Where's your most favourite place?
I love walking through the woods, yes.
Yeah.
Being in the trees and just seeing whatever animals are running around in there. That's my favorite place.
I like the tranquility of walking through trees, walking through the woods. I think it's nice and quiet, and especially if you get somewhere that's off the beaten track, away from, all the cars and the lorries, the noises of roads, and you can just hear nature. I think it's just wonderful. But my most favourite place is to be sat on a beach. I don't know, there is something about, for me anyway, there is something about hearing these waves crashing on that shore. I just feel it just takes all the pressures away, any stress that you have. My husband and I used to live in California. We'd head off most Sundays, and we would be driving home like new people. We were just totally revitalised. That is our most favourite place to be. But I hear you walking in nature. I totally love that too. Each to our own, right? We've all got a different place.
Absolutely.
Place to be. So how can creative expression aid in self-discovery and healing?
I think creative expression is a pretty important piece. It allows you to kind of tap into a different part of your brain and a different part of yourself. And oftentimes, whether it's actual creativity, whether it's art that you're creating or poetry, or even just expressing something that is you're feeling inside of you, it allows you to use it as an outlet to get whatever you're feeling on the inside out onto paper, out onto some form of art outside of yourself. And it kind of opens your mind up to this whole new way of experiencing life, I think, as well.
I think another good one that I could suggest would be dancing. Just to move your body, get that energy flowing and just allow it to leave you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dancing, I think, is a great way to move energy, and, dancing even without any type of need to perform, just moving and shaking your body just to get the energy out.
Do you sing?
I do, actually. I think that's another good way to use your voice through expression, to kind of just even humming sometimes is a good way to move your vocal cords, and it's kind of relaxing.
I don't know if you hear my cat at the door, but that is her way of expressing her most annoyance that I have locked her out of the office while I do this.
I love it.
I sing, but very badly. I'll caveat that. Very, very badly. But when my husband's at work, and I don't know, maybe sometimes I feel a little bit down, but I really feel a lot easier after I put in a couple of tunes and just belt them out. Whether it doesn't matter how bad I sound if I'm on my own, right? And the neighbours are far enough apart, they can't complain, I hope. But I really think that moves blockages in the throat chakra. I really do find that. So yeah, everybody will be able to find their own way of creative expression. That's just a few that we've talked about today. Can you think of any more?
I mean, music, any type of music. Yeah.
Just feeling that vibration from the music, eh? Yeah, it does. Makes you all goosebumps. Yeah. So what practices can you tell us about then? The ones that you would recommend for reconnecting with yourself?
One that I do every morning, and that I relied on a lot during my recovery, and even still, is journaling. I think that was instrumental in my own recovery. And maybe whether you do breathing practices or meditation, just kind of connecting to the breath and kind of getting still for a little bit. And just being present with yourself, with what, your experiences are throughout the day, whether, you're sipping a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and just really taking some time to experience it fully, the taste of it, the warmth of it, or whatever. Maybe you're eating your meal, just tuning into the taste, the textures, the smells, just to really to be in the experience of it all.
Yeah, be in the moment, be present. And I like what you said about the journaling. I recommend that to my clients as well, because it's a way of getting what's in your head out. Get it down onto paper. It actually, I don't think they believe me to start with, but I think they find it really freeing. In itself, just get what's in your head onto paper and you feel so much better. Yeah, and meditation, breath work, absolutely. They are two things that I like to use as well, particularly meditation.
And then, we talked about, getting out in nature, music, expression. I think those are important tools too that you can kind of use to reconnect to yourself.
And even a little bit of light exercise first thing in the morning, a quick walk around the block, or 5 minutes with your weights. Yeah, it can certainly help wake the body up. Yeah. So how do you build trust with yourself then after experiencing betrayal or disappointment?
I think it starts with just very little baby steps in building trust with yourself, and really kind of starting small, and those little wins or those little, improvements, really taking the time to stop and notice them and to celebrate them, to acknowledge them and celebrate your little wins. And then over time, they build upon each other, and they build up this bank of trust within yourself.
I think the awareness is a big thing, of how you think and act and speak about yourself. I think once you take a step back and think, what I just said, was that helping me or was it hindering me? Is it positive or is it negative? And I think coming into that awareness is a really big first step for change. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. You have to be aware of whatever it's the action or whatever the thing is first before you can change it.
Agreed. And from your perspective then, in what ways does society influence our perception of femininity and embodiment?
I think sometimes society has a negative effect on the ways we would view femininity. Sometimes as being a little crazy or chaotic, maybe unproductive, too emotional. And then there's also this piece on like sexuality, portraying us to be this either quiet, cute, sweet, docile woman, or like this sexy temptress. And then embodiment, I mean, society almost works to distract us from our bodies, and with all the different things technology is wonderful, but like there's a lot with social media or just the advertisements, things to constantly kind of pull our attention outwards.
Mm-hmm. And to make us, be perfect. Mm-hmm. And it's our perception of what other people think we should be or the way we should be. Mm. Yeah. So what are some common misconceptions about eating disorder recovery?
I think a big one is that it has to look a certain way, whether that's a prescribed diet or whatever it is that somebody has told you that it's supposed to look like. I think it's really individual to each person, how their recovery will be like, or what it will look like, how long it will take them. And, don't beat yourself up for it. Allow it to be unique to you.
Yeah, and there's always the choice there. You're the one that has the power and has the choice to turn it around. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely that piece on allowing it to be unique to you, but also, still holding yourself accountable for mm-hmm. your recovery. Like you said, you're the one who holds the power to create change.
And to be aware of the guilt as well, because, the guilt may be there, but understanding that, you're in this situation. There's no point in apportioning blame to anyone. Just take the situation as it is, and then, make the decision, the positive choice to move forward and make the right steps to change.
Mm-hmm. And like we were kind of talking about earlier with the guilt, I think that's where the forgiveness can be a big help.
Yeah. Forgive yourself, and the choice is yours to make the change. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so how can someone identify if they are disconnected from their feminine essence?
I think a lot of times, because I know this is where I was for a big portion of my life, and especially during my eating disorder, struggling, I was very disconnected from myself and from sensations. I kind of was numb to different sensations, different experiences, and also very much focus driven, like just moving on the next task, like constantly trying to get stuff done and, just move on to the next thing, and very work and goal orientated.
Mm-hmm. Very distracted.
Mm-hmm.
That takes your mind away from your actual reality, I suppose, and something that you have to deal with. Because if you keep yourself distracted, you don't have to deal with it. Is that what you mean? So it keeps yourself in denial?
Yeah, denial. And then you're just focusing on, whether it's a work thing or a project that you're doing, just constantly like being focused on productivity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what steps then can someone take to start their journey towards feminine embodiment?
Mm-hmm. I think a good place to start is to just really slow down, just to be able to pause and take time to kind of explore your inner world, get curious about what's going on inside. What are these feelings, emotions, sensations that I'm having? And then from there, once you kind of build some comfortability with that, you'll get to know them a little bit more and be able to take them out and into the world.
And having the true desire, I think, for change, or to find the truth, your of your own inner self. Because I think it makes it a lot easier if you're determined and you're 100% aligned with finding the truth and making positive change in your life. Because there's a lot of people out there that they kind of dilly-dally. They say they want to do something, but deep inside they really don't. They want to avoid it like the plague. And that's just when it won't happen for them. So would you agree that you really have to be 100% dedicated to change?
You do, yes. And, some days will be, I would say they'll notice more change than others. I mean, it's not, some days maybe you'll feel like you're standing still, but just trying to commit to, taking small steps every day or doing something every day to show up for that change and for yourself.
Yep, small bites of the elephant instead of trying to swallow it whole. Yeah, because I mean that is life, isn't it? It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and you're going to have lots of ups and downs, and it's not going to be a straight line from where you are to where you want to be. There's going to be so many peaks and troughs and ups and downs, and if we can just acknowledge that and just go with the flow, then things are usually a lot easier for us. It's usually a lot easier for us, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Try to go with the flow and let go of controlling and
yeah, let go of resistance. Yeah, because you can't go with the flow if you're resisting.
Yeah.
So how do you integrate mindfulness into your coaching practice?
I like to kind of give clients some homework to take home with them, if you will, incorporating journaling, some journal prompts, or some meditations, visualizations that I kind of recommend for them to do.
Okay. So how does that help them along the way? Do you find that they're quite happy to do it, or sometimes there's a little bit of resistance?
I think sometimes there is a little bit of resistance, like in sticking with it and making the time for it. I feel like, but ultimately it's something that they do and enjoy once they start doing it and they see the benefits that it has for them.
Okay. Can you share a success story or a couple from your coaching experience?
Yeah, sure. I think some of the ones that stand out are really kind of about women wanting to explore some decisions or some things that are going on in their life and in coming home to their own truth of that. So for example, if they wanted to, there was, a client wanting to explore the relationship she was in, if that was something that she wanted to continue for herself. And, it was something that she knew kind of deep in her heart that it wasn't aligned with her. So she ended up walking away from that and kind of moving on with herself and building her career and stuff. That's where she wanted to go, in that direction. And there's another client of mine that was really kind of debating on moving, selling her home and moving to another state. It was something that she really kind of wanted to do, her and her husband, but there was a lot of fear and resistance around that. But we should just, kind of stay here. This is safe. And, really kind of removing some of the blocks and stuff that she had living inside of her body to come to the decision for her and her family, which was to move. And she found like the perfect house within, a couple weeks, and sold her house very easily. Like it all just like once she made that decision, all the pieces of the puzzle started to kind of fall into place.
Okay. I'm going to pop something on screen for you, if you wouldn't mind telling the audience about this.
Yeah, this is just an opportunity for people to connect with me if they're kind of interested in talking to me about some one-on-one coaching or a couple different options that I have for ways to work with me, so they can meet with me, kind of get to know me, see if we work well together, if we have a good connection, and to kind of try get a little taste of what feminine embodiment is before they make the full commitment for themselves.
Okay. All right, and I'll put the full URL in the description underneath, so anybody can find it even after this episode. So, what advice do you have for women who are afraid to embrace their authenticity?
That I know it's scary to sometimes to step out there as your true authentic self. There's a lot of fear sometimes around rejection, for people, not appreciating that version of ourselves. But my advice is that, or I would say to them that, we only get this one life. So there's, it seems long, but there's not a lot of time really. It goes by very quickly. And when you step out as the truest version of yourself, that's how you really start to call in the people and the places and the opportunities that are meant for you. Like all of that just kind of starts to fall into place once you show up as your true self.
Your true self, yeah, it's a major thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what about any projects that you've got going on for this year? Have you got anything coming up you can tell us about?
I do have some things going on. I actually, over the next couple weeks, starting on March 25th, and the following 3, so that's a Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing a free workshop, or they're going to be consecutive each Monday, little intro to embodiment sessions where people can just pop in. They can send me a message and let me know they're interested, but pop in and kind of explore the world of feminine embodiment. And I have 3 topics for that. One is radical self-love. The second workshop will be on boundaries. And the third is on creative expression. And then I also have a program that people could sign up for if they're interested. It's called Starved to Nourished. And that's kind of a deep dive into nourishing the self through the lens of embodiment, kind of along the same lines of what I went through in recovery. And I do one-on-one coaching as well. And I have embodied cooking sessions. If somebody was interested in in doing a virtual cooking session with me and really kind of embodying the aliveness of the food and the preparation of everything.
Yeah, there's super projects and some really great topics in there. That's fabulous. Okay, we're finishing up just the next couple of minutes. Do you have any message that you want to say? Your parting words.
My parting words. Just, I guess, I feel like coming for me, and I want other women to know that coming home to yourself is so empowering, and I feel like it's important to really step into your potential and your own power and be able to create the life of your dreams. So whether you do that on your own, in your own terms, or whether you work with a professional or someone else, it's possible.
Yeah, find the courage, just take the step forward and do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, Kimberly, it's been a lovely conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us and imparting all your education. That's been fabulous. I want to say thank you also to the viewers, whether you're watching on demand or live. And until next time, take care of yourself, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you so much, Dawn.